Hello everybody, this is Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-Minute Histories videos. And today I'm at the Calvert School in the Tuscany Canterbury neighborhood, and we're going to talk about the building behind me, the house behind me, Castalia, and the Calvert School a little bit. And I am thrilled that I'm going to be joined by the gentleman who lives in the house and who heads up the Calvert School, the current principal, Andrew Holmgren. Before I turn it over to Andrew though, let me say a quick thanks. About 15 years ago, Baltimore Heritage was involved in helping get this building on the city's historic landmark list, and there were a whole bunch of folks who helped with that, folks at Calvert School and in the neighborhood. I'd like to give a particular shout out to the neighborhood association president at the time, Susan Talbert. So thanks, Sue, and thanks everybody. Here we are 15 years later. All right, let me just say a word or two before turning it over. The house was built and finished in 1929, built by the Calvert School's first headmaster, Virgil Hillyer. Hillyer was a pioneer in education, and particularly in what we today might call distance learning. Back then, they fondly called it a classroom in a box. Hillyer had developed a curriculum that was based on reading and writing and math, arts and music and science as well, and he was happy that kids here at Calvert could take advantage of it, but also thought that kids that were not here should also be able to take advantage of it. And he figured out how to put the curriculum and everything you needed for it literally in a box and would ship it out to wherever you were. It proved instantly popular. Within just a few years, there were classrooms in a box being shipped to all 50 states, and then soon the United States government picked up on it and started ordering them for overseas service members and their families who were literally all over the world. So within just a few short years, we had kids learning the Calvert School curriculum literally all over planet Earth. If Hillyer was passionate about his curriculum, he was also passionate about this house, beginning with its name, Castalia. He knew his Greek mythology. She was a nymph. She thwarted the advances of the god Apollo. He was not very pleased with that and turned her into a fountain at the foot of Mount Parnassus. But the fountain had healthy waters, as they say, and travelers going up the mountain would stop for a drink before they continued on their journey. So I think Hillyer made that parallel to students at Calvert here drinking from the academic healthy waters, beginning their life's journey up the proverbial mountain. For his architect, Hillyer chose the preeminent architect of the day, a gentleman named Laurence Fowler. He's credited with some 60 houses around the Mid-Atlantic. The neighborhoods of Guilford and Holmgren are lucky to have more than just a few of those. His bigger projects included the War Memorial Building down by City Hall and the fantastic library addition to historic Evergreen House just north of Loyola, if you know where that is. Really just wonderful. I want to end up and hand it over with a quick quote, quick reading from a correspondence between the architect Fowler and the builder Hillyer. Hillyer would be what was kindly called a very engaged client. He was involved, I think, with almost every aspect of the building. Here's a quick correspondence while Fowler is on vacation at Cape May in 1928. He telegrams urgently over to Hillyer saying, quote, "To change cement now will certainly ruin the wall. Wire if you insist on it." Firing right back, Hillyer responds, "What I insist on is that the pointing be the same color as I approved. Stop. I will hold the contractor accountable." So you get a sense of how involved Hillyer really was with this. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the headmaster, Andrew. Andrew, we are all yours.
Hi everybody, I'm Andrew Holmgren. I'm the current headmaster of Calvert School. Welcome to Castalia. Living in Castalia, I have 3 boys and 2 dogs, so it's always messy and noisy, but it's really like stepping back in the pages of history. It was about 8 years ago that Calvert came in and restored the entire house to basically its original floor plan. There are some slight changes on the upper floors as families nowadays live a little differently than families did back in the 1920s. But by and large, they came in and matched the doors and the railings, and anything that they couldn't use originally, they had reproduced. So it's been a great experience living in the house. In particular, you can see the large windows. The living space is on the 2nd and 3rd floor for the most part. And so it's like being in the canopy of the trees when you look out the windows. And as the head of Calvert School, it's great for me to be able to sit out on the porch and watch the playing fields and watch all of our boys and girls engage in their athletic contests and really get a full view of the entire campus and all the activity that takes place here. Virgil Hillyer was also an engaged client with Mr. Fowler on our lower school building. Calvert's actually had 3 locations. Our first was down on Madison, our second was on Chase Street, and our third was right here on Tuscany Road. We actually moved here in 1924, and Mr. Fowler and Mr. Hillyer designed the building together. The W.P. Carey Lower School is, believe it or not, in the shape of an E for education. And obviously over the years we've added to it. In the 70s we added a library and a couple gyms. We also added a planetarium to the school. In the 80s we added a few more additions and classrooms, and the Luetkemeyer wing, which has our new cafeteria. And then across the street in the year 2002 we opened up the Calvert Middle School. So it's been a great campus to explore, and a wonderful building that Mr. Fowler and Mr. Hillyer designed and built together to be a part of and see the boys and girls in every day. Calvert is actually celebrating its 125th anniversary this year, and we've got a lot of things planned. I mean, first and foremost, our main concern, as always, is taking care of the boys and girls and making sure that they have the best education and that they're here on campus with us. But we also have a number of special events and activities planned for our alum, for our families, and certainly our students. One of the big features of our 125th celebration is the opening of our new Luetkemeyer Athletic Center, which started construction about this time last year and will be finished in September to begin our 125th school year. So we look forward to inviting all of our alum and the community back to Calvert next year to see the new building, to see the buildings and all the improvements that have taken place, and to really just enjoy being back at the school that they love.